Okay. The difficulty is a little hard to explain, so I'm going to try to explain it in the easiest way possible. But
They are so happy you just said that.
so the difficulty is based off of so the thing that keeps miners from just keeping making these amazing hardware, and that can just, because what would happen is if right now if we wanted to make the best, take a quantum computer or something, or a supercomputer, and I wanted to put it on the Bitcoin network, and then you're just like, oh, somebody can break the Bitcoin network and just make the difficulty go up, and they can get all the rewards and all this stuff, and it's like that's actually not. So Bitcoin makes it really easy, where it's like, okay, this guy just invented something brand new, some brand new technology, and this thing is going to skyrocket, and he's going to make all the Bitcoins because he's going to solve everything way faster than everybody else.
Right.
So what happens is the difficulty is based off of every couple of weeks. It's like it's usually supposed to be every 14 days. It doesn't really do that as much anymore, but it's usually in that range. And so every 14 days, the difficulty realigns. And what that means is if that guy basically turns it on, all his units on, and the difficulty's like boop, then what would happen is in 2 weeks, the difficulty would readjust and saying, hey, this guy's solving all the blocks in 6 minutes instead of 10 minutes. He's solving them way faster. So what we need to do is the protocol basically just readjusts and basically says, okay, this is the amount of power that's coming through. We're going to readjust it, so now it takes 10 minutes again. So this guy just invented this whole new thing, and it's literally back to he's on the same playing field as everybody else now. And the difficulty is what keeps everybody from not cheating and from keeping them technology from not improving way over than it's supposed to.
So it should always take 10 minutes to find a block.
Yes,
always. And then Bitcoin itself, not anybody, any person or any centralized group controlling this, but Bitcoin as a protocol itself is modifying itself based on how powerful the mining hardware is.
Correct.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So it's smart. It knows when how to keep the balance, and that's also why the 21 million Bitcoins is pretty cool, because even though 21 million is the maximum, we're currently on I think 13 million,
yep.
But it's supposed to gradually increase, and in order to make sure that nobody can get all go mine all those 12 million without everybody else, that the difficulty makes sure that it keeps steady and it's not going to change.
And I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but for everyone that doesn't know, so there's 21 million Bitcoins that can exist. Mm-hmm. 13 million of them are in circulation now. So just so everyone watching understands, how did people get those 13 million Bitcoins? How are Bitcoins minted?
Okay. So originally it was Satoshi, the creator of Bitcoin, mined the first Genesis block, the first block, and then he mined 1 million Bitcoins, and then that was his, and he hasn't touched it since then. Nobody knows what he's doing. But the other amount, I think there's 500,000 Bitcoins or something that have been already stolen and taken, but for the rest of them, they were all minted by miners. So every new Bitcoin that gets generated from now on is going to be a brand new minted Bitcoin from a miner and from a new block that gets created and cracked.
And then, okay, so Bitcoins go into circulation when miners put their processing power towards keeping track of the transactions and solving the blocks. Mm-hmm. And then people have nodes that are set up which help confirm transactions or verify transactions.
Verify, right.
Right. Yeah.
And then the block, once the block is actually solved, then it's confirmed. Oh, it's not even confirmed just yet. It's confirmed once the miners actually, start picking, okay, these are all the ones with fees on them, I'm going to confirm these first. And usually, like, with Tim Draper's 30,000 Bitcoins, I'm sure they put a little transaction fee because they wanted that 30,000 Bitcoins to go through without a problem. Yep. So
it's funny. Tim has said that it took 30 minutes for the 30,000 Bitcoins to be sent.
Do you know how much his fee was?
I don't know.
I should ask him that.
Yeah, everybody watching, tweet at Tim Draper and say how much was the transaction cost for the 30,000 Bitcoins. Tell them that Chris and Matt sent you.
We want to know.
Yeah. So, like, Bitcoin mining is complicated, but not anymore because you just explained everything, and so we're all super smart now, which is awesome. But, like, what do you think the biggest, like, what's the scariest thing about Bitcoin mining? Like, someone that's heard about Bitcoin mining, but they haven't really spent the time yet to fully understand it. Like, what do you think that thing about Bitcoin mining is that kind of scares people maybe or confuses them?
I mean, the biggest thing I think that a lot of people have confusion over is just that there's computers doing it. And the interesting thing is that a lot of people, they like the fact that Bitcoin is secure and does all these amazing things, but they don't really understand how it works. And since the way it works is, I mean, none of these guys right now, all of them are incentivized to make money. That's all they're here for, and that's all they've been here for since the beginning.
The Bitcoin miners?
Yeah, Bitcoin miners. So their whole goal has always been to what is going to make me the most money, and that's why it eventually evolved from your laptop to a graphics card to an ASIC, is because they're always trying to figure out better ways to make money. But in that process, they've also separated a lot of the original infrastructure that was made. So, for example, mining pools, which is basically a bunch of miners coming together and then trying to solve a block in a group setting, and then they split the reward. That wasn't originally intended by the creator. It also, like, the way that I interact with the protocol is different. So when my miner's actually talking to a mining pool or trying to actually do the hashing, all those softwares, they're all open source. They're not supported that well. Like, none of the companies that are currently built off of Bitcoin are supporting it. None of the mining companies are supporting it, and that's where, like, our company's coming in, where we're actually going to build that whole software layer out and have it secured. And because there are a lot of vulnerabilities, because it's the current infrastructure is not the same that was originally, secure for
right.
Satoshi. So a lot of those things, there's a lot of loopholes and ways to actually take money before it even hits circulation. And so there's a lot of good things about Bitcoin, but I feel like there's a lot more people who need to know more about the mining side, because that's the real innovation on Bitcoin is not necessarily that it's a digital currency, not that it's like, that's cryptography and uses
right.
signatures. It's more that they kind of merged these different technologies together, and it actually created something that, proof of work, which is I am proving that I'm basically guessing all these things, and it knows that I'm making these guesses, so I'm proving my work. And when I solve the hash, it knows how much I contributed to it. That is essentially the hugest innovation, I would say, and that's why it's a lot more interesting for, like, me. But there's because there's not a lot of people who understand how it works and all the different layers that come through it, and the guys who are getting into it are just trying to make money off of it.
Right.
Nobody's really 100% paying attention to how that infrastructure that's being built. Everybody's just building on top of Bitcoin instead of the stuff that's under it. And I think that is probably the most insecure part, is that we need more companies, we need more people supporting the back side versus the top.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's, so basically you're focused on making Bitcoin better.
Yeah. Want to make Bitcoin a lot better.
And hopefully everyone watching learned a lot about mining, and maybe someone out there decides that they're going to work with you and they'll work with your technology to make Bitcoin better, or they'll go make a new company. Maybe they'll go compete with you and force you to work faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything, I think our main goal is to, I mean, if everybody understood how to do mining, if everybody understood the process of mining and was able to actually contribute to mining, I think it's actually way, way better, and it would actually secure the network a lot more, because there's now a lot more people who understand mining and that this is the main thing that keeps Bitcoin secure. And if you can be involved by maybe not necessarily having to understand how everything works, but being able to just contribute a little bit of money or a little bit of computer power or whatever, you are now helping build this whole entire thing. You're a support of the network, and so our goal is to make sure that it's easy for everyone to do it at one point.
Right. Well, and now because they've heard about Bitcoin mining, you guys actually have a huge responsibility now because someone has to do it. But thank you for explaining Bitcoin mining to us, and blocks and nodes and the ledger, and how it's not so different from what the banks were doing before, except for the fact that it's way better. And it's public.
Transparency.
And transparent. Yeah.
That's the best thing.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Bye, guys.